What does Gematria have to say about Arsenal being 7 points back after 10 matches? Arsenal have to overcome a 30-year record to win the Premier League. Basically, in the 3 decades of the Premier League, only one side has ever trailed the league leaders by more than 7 points after 10 matches and gone on to lift the title. The only team to do so was Blackburn Rovers, who overcame an 8-point deficit to Newcastle United 30 years ago. So Blackburn edged out Newcastle for the Premier League title 30 years ago. And it's not a coincidence that this is just scripted. For Arsenal to come off of the match against Newcastle. So again, 30 years ago was the last time a team overcame this big of a deficit after 10 matches, and Arsenal are coming off of the match against no other than Newcastle. Arsenal do face off against Inter in the Champions League. This is the script. Arsenal lose against Newcastle. They have to overcome a huge deficit to shock the world to win the Premier League title. Blackburn is Gematria 30, so Arsenal are going to overcome a 30-year record to win the Premier League title, coming off of the loss against Newcastle. Blackburn overcame an 8-point deficit in 10 matches to edge out Newcastle for the 1994 and 1995 title. So let me go to the Premier League in 1994, and let me just show you the table in 1994. I think there's a final table here. Yep. So I guess Newcastle were in first 30 years ago, but the Newcastle didn't finish in second place. So that's apparently what happened in this 94-95 edition. The biggest deficits overcame outside of Blackburn Rovers was 6 points by Man United in 2002-2003, in 2013-2014 Man City. So 2 teams have done it, 6 points back after 10 matches. The 4 other times was Man United behind by 5 points, going on to win the Premier League title. So history will be achieved 30 years into the future. The great news for Arsenal is they do have a chance. They avoid playing away from home at some very tough opponents. Already played Aston Villa at Villa Park. Liverpool still have to go to Villa Park. Man City still have to go to Villa Park. Arsenal already played away at the Etihad. They face off Man City at the Emirates. The Arsenal could have won if it wasn't for the red card. Liverpool have to travel to the Etihad, so you know points will be dropped at the top. Arsenal already played Tottenham at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Both Liverpool and Man City both have to travel to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Both Arsenal and Man City already played away at St. James Park at Newcastle. Liverpool still have to go over there. So it's Liverpool that have the toughest remaining away matches out of all of the top 4 sides. In another tough away match, Arsenal would complete should it win at Stamford Bridge. That's another tough match at the top that Arsenal would avoid. A trip to Stamford Bridge later on in the year. Getting Chelsea at home, getting Newcastle at home, getting Tottenham at home, getting City at home, getting Aston Villa at home. And for Chelsea, Liverpool still have to go to Stamford Bridge. They played Chelsea at home. And let's check I think the opening match of the year Was it at the Etihad or was it at uh, Stamford Bridge? They're talking about Chelsea and Man City. Man City. So Liverpool's the only club that would have to travel to the Stamford Bridge after the conclusion of this upcoming match week, which would see Arsenal complete a trip to Stamford Bridge. And Bournemouth is in the top half of the table. Arsenal have already played away at Bournemouth. So has Man City. They lost over there last week. They're in the top 10, Bournemouth. They're a pretty really good club. And okay, Liverpool have to travel to Bournemouth where they've already defeated Arsenal and Man City at home. So Bournemouth is not going to be an easy match. There are no easy match in the Premier League. So I think this just about completes the synopsis. And with that being said, can history be made? What does the end of the year say for Arsenal? Southampton, they finish the year. This is going to be an epic underdog run. Liverpool and Newcastle to finish the year. People are still going to doubt Arsenal's ability to win the Premier League. But that's how history will be made. Southampton Football Club, Man City, Gematria 85. Southampton are the worst team in the Premier League, so imagine if Arsenal are a win away from winning the Premier League and they face Southampton to end the year, to end the season. And for the heck of it, Nottingham Forest could be the wild card that will impact the Premier League title race. Nottingham Forest at home for Arsenal in Nuno Espirito Santo. You need to include every club in the synopsis. So, for, Liverpool, this was actually at Anfield. They still have to travel to Forest. So, you gotta include every club at the top of the table. Arsenal and Man City get Nottingham Forest. Are these points to be dropped? Or are these points to be won against Nottingham Forest? And of course, Brighton, Arsenal have already played Brighton at home, have to travel to Brighton. And again, Man City would play Brighton after this week. So Man City get to avoid the trip to Falmer Stadium later on in the year. Any other clubs in the top half of the table we need to mention? We already did Tottenham, we already did. One last club I want to do is Fulham. I know Brentford are good. I think it completes it after Brentford. You never know if United are going to be a different club. Manchester derbies, United and Arsenal a little bit later in November, December at the end. And Man City already defeated Fulham. So this completes the synopsis, and history will be made 30 years later. The biggest deficit outside of Blackburn will be achieved 30 years after 1994-1995. And Arsenal would come off of matches against Newcastle and Inter before it does begin a title challenge. Plus 8 point margin needed to win the Premier League. Can they go on an unbeaten run again like last year? Only losing to Villa, but almost invincible in all of the other remaining matches. Red card against Brighton, red card against City, red card against Bournemouth. Gabriel left due to injury. Saliba was suspended, so it could have been 3 points against Liverpool. So my point is that it is not safe yet to rule out Arsenal. You have to let the marathon play out. We're not even at the halfway point. Let 9 matches happen. See where we are after 19 matches. Do you have all 3 clubs within 5 points of each other? They have to play each other in the new year. This is when you can reserve to make just judgments. But of course they do. Arsenal have to defeat Chelsea this week.